Hi, in this video I'm going to look at why retail traders fail. Well, I'm actually going to be looking at one of the reasons why retail traders fail. Probably the first one, and most likely the most frequent one, and the one that most of them have in common. And the reason that I'd say that is because I can see what they're doing. I can look at the order books, I can look, and you can look at, you may not be able to look at the order books, but you can certainly look at the open positions. It's freely available out there. Firstly, between 74% was the lowest I had on any broker of their clients losing money, up to 83% of the clients, so somewhere between 74 and 83, and they're all on good brokers, or most of those good brokers. There's a few dodgy ones amongst them, but I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 markets just to get a feel to see where these brokers are. Highest was 83, lowest was at 74, so people are losing money. Now, if you want to stop losing money, you've got to stop doing the things that cause you to lose money, and you've got to look at what those are and maybe break it down. I think the easiest one to approach is looking at trading against the trend, because we want to be buying at the bottom and selling at the top. Buy low, sell high. That's the way you're always told. Particularly if you watch Trading Places. Realistically, you don't need to be buying at the absolute bottom or selling at the absolute top. There's ways of getting into markets that don't encourage that. However, the old saying, "Let the trend be your friend," is never truer. That even with the trend being your friend, you'll still lose money at times. This isn't a here's the holy grail only going one direction. There'll be times when going in what you think is the right direction just doesn't work, I can assure you. So, but if you can bring the losing rate down just by sort of thinking, well, actually, I won't try and catch the bottoms. I'll wait until there's confirmation of a bottom or a confirmation of a top. I'm not going to go through details exactly here of the confirmations of the tops and bottoms. I've already done things like that on reading price action in a previous video, which you can look at. Anyway, key things here. Trend. What do we want to do? We want to be buying at the bottom, of course. Well, there was a lot of people buying at bottoms here that at some point probably looked like they were doing quite well, apart from they may have got stopped here, but maybe they got in at this bottom here. That looks like a nice bar. A few days later it's rolled back over, rolling over and sold off strongly. But surely we can follow a trend by just literally putting a weekly chart on here and seeing, this was that period. What's happening? The market's coming down. Where are the big bars? Well, where are the majority of the bars, and which ones are they? Red or green? There's the occasional green one that I've got in there, which we saw super duper rally there for a whole week of rallying, only to see it all rolling back. And so most of these weeks are selling weeks, hence the downward trend. I know you're going to say, well, that's obvious. So why do many traders still trade against the obvious? And perhaps that's what I want to get over. So I'll give you an example today, and okay, this market's getting a little bit of a rally, but ironically, so this is freely available. I said, you can't see it, all of it, but it's provided by FXSSI. It's a tool, one of their tools for looking at the sentiment, the quick sentiment of retail traders. And what it shows in blue are those people. So this is who's bought. So these are open orders, buy side and the sell side. So at the moment, the IG Index, one of the largest brokers out there, wouldn't recommend them. I'll just get that in, but they are one of the largest brokers out there. And 74%, nearly 75% of their clients are on the buy side at the moment. That was as high as 78%, and I think even higher last week. And what did it do last week? Well, of course, it's carried on selling off. It's selling off. So generally, people, there's a huge amount of people, this is proving my fact, that are going always long against a down market and vice versa. You'll see the US dollar CAD. There's a lot of people short on the CAD. What's the CAD doing? Just bring the CAD into play on a weekly basis. Yep, going upwards. And I forget the percentage now that that was sitting there. Just bring that back. So the percentage sitting there was Canadian dollar was 71% are sitting short. Actually, it's slightly less than IG's long positions on the euro. Of course, the market's going to change direction, and of course, at some point, you will want to go with the new trend, and that's the time to get there. Remember, and a key point to understand is the markets do go in cycles. This is a pretty good picture here. We're seeing the weekly charts of the Canadian dollar, and it has run in quite obvious cycles here, and there may have been opportunities where you might have been quite close to trading to the downside or the upside from one of the bottoms, but you could have possibly timed it a little bit better. It's quite a cyclical market here, but at all times when a new trend is started, even look, this trend here started at the bottom, obviously started from the bottom, started moving up, started giving higher lows, which is and higher highs, which is a good example. It pulled back here on over these few weeks, rallied back up, took the prior highs out, gave us a new higher low. So all of a sudden you've got trend lines, and it's a case of, well, could you have got in at any point through here or after here? Well, yeah, you could have waited for it to pull off a little bit, or you may have been trading intraday on that in that direction. And yes, you may have lost some money on some of those occasions. Other occasions, this is quite different to, say, the euro, which would have been a lot easier to trade because it's just been pretty much coming down. So the sentiment, everything, the fundamentals, the sentiment and the trend, all in a line there, yet people are wanting to continually buy it. I will leave you with that as a thought. Please look at what you're doing, trade carefully, wait for the trends to be in your favor. If you want to be long, wait for the long side to be shown. Lots of people would have been wanting to be short all the way up here, and there would have been a lot of people thinking, well, this is going to go down. They would have been right at this point, and then the rally came, and eventually it went. Was there anything between this point, this late point, as some people would say it, and, well, where we are now? Of course there is. There's lots of points. So in fact, I'm going to get the pen out now just to measure that, if I can find the right one. So somewhere around 2070, 2080, 2300. So there you go, lots. So I'll leave that with you. If it helps you, great. If you want to carry on trading against the idea, it's up to you. But great if you're making money. If you're not making money and you're still trading against it, then it's time to give it a think.